Round 2. Should I put these right after each other? Are people gonna be bored of you yet?
They smell. So then maybe I shouldn't have a different shirt on.
Yeah, full disclosure, we changed shirts. We filmed the last video 3 minutes ago.
You're recording. No, hold on. What? We should go put our other shirts on.
No, I'll spread them out like a week apart.
Okay, as long as you do that, that's fine.
They'll think we filmed it a week apart.
Perfect.
But it was really 3 minutes ago. We're back.
Yes.
Yeah, we're gonna do those again. Back for round 2.
Round 2.
With this game. I don't have a name for the game.
Called thumbs up or down.
Heads up, heads. No.
This is the thumb.
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
It's called thumbs.
It's called thumbs. Sure.
Good thumbs,
Great.
bad thumbs.
Oh, I like it. It's kind of weird. It's a working title. So we're back. Luke is back. Do you want to try?
Hi, my name is Luke Bilyk. I'm an actor. I'm 5'11" and I'm currently based in Toronto. That is how I introduce myself in my slates.
Oh, this is so great. That's really great you did that. I'm going to be talking about that in this video. This is a video about auditioning. And so if you're new to acting and maybe you just got an agent or you're still looking for an agent, but you're wondering kind of what this whole industry and world is about, auditioning is obviously the biggest part of it. It's your interview, right?
Yeah, exactly.
For the job. So I'm here with Luke, who is really good at introductions. I'm just going to put a clip of his last introduction.
From Toronto. I'm an actor. I don't know. I don't do short movies. Yeah, I don't know. I'm an actor. Yeah, that's all.
That's it. Actor from Toronto, but been acting. Actually, how long have you been acting? I don't
My
know
entire
that.
life, yeah.
Really?
First job I ever had, I was in diapers.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Pampers commercial. Told you guys before. I was
Yeah.
the national kid. Nobody
Yeah.
believes me. I'm like, it sounds like such an outrageous thing, but I was the national kid.
At 2000? How old were you at 2000?
6 years old.
6.
I'm maybe 7 or 8. Honestly, all these ages put together.
These ages.
Between the ages of 8 to 15, I did a lot of random acting things. Think of my life as in seasons. Like, that's how I think.
Oh, cool.
Season 11 is 2011, and I remember what I was doing based off what we filmed and what was happening in 2011.
Anyways, a little off topic, but this is Luke. Better introduction.
That was my introduction. There we go.
Way better than that.
This is how you do it.
So, if you haven't watched our game Thumbs, I guess it's now called. Basically, we are going to be talking all about auditioning. If you're curious about agents and if you need one and everything that they do and what they're about, you can watch the other video, which we just filmed. I will ask a yes or no question. Luke and I will answer it and then explain why we chose that answer. We're gonna start off really simple.
Okay.
Really simple. When you go into an audition or do a self-tape for an audition, it is COVID, so a lot of it will be online and virtual. Do you look directly in the camera when saying your lines? 1, 2, 3, no. So that's for anybody who has maybe never done an audition before or hasn't actually done a scene.
Or self-tape, because that can confuse you as well.
Totally, yeah, absolutely. Actually, for people who maybe don't know what a self-tape is, that's where it's the same thing as an audition, but you're no longer in the room in front of the casting directors. You'll have a camera set up basically like this, a reader on the other side, and you'll be presenting your lines in the scene to the reader.
Who is off camera, not like this.
Yes. That's really important.
I don't know, I always find that even definitely in the room, which is going to be a little bit interesting. I have my first Zoom audition actually coming up, which is
that's
a little
weird.
bit nervous about it.
So I haven't I've heard some people with the process, but have you heard good or bad things about it?
From the tips that I've just had from a couple of my acting friends, which is you can get rid of your own face on Zoom, which I didn't know, and then you can focus it solely on the reader. It doesn't matter whether you're on set, you're doing a self-tape, or you're in the audition room, make the reader that you're reading with, make them the only thing that matters in the world, because that's what you're selling. You're selling your performance to the reader, and the camera will pick it up.
That's a really, really good point, actually. That's a great tip. But all in all, being said, you never look down the barrel of the camera, and whoever you choose to read with you, have that be somebody who hopefully is an actor. And it really helps. It helps having somebody connect with you and act with you and know what they're doing too. Okay, so let's pretend like we are going into an audition room. Do you shake the casting director's hand when you walk into an audition room? 1, 2, 3?
Yeah, because it's unless you know the person, if you've done 3 jobs with them and you know them, still, even with casting directors, we know you can technically go up there and shake their hands, but also think how many people are going to be doing that. You think, just get in there, what your job is, say hi.
Yeah, totally agree. I actually once, a reader came out and said, the director is in the room, you're gonna go up and you're gonna shake their hand. And I was told to.
Say hi to everyone,
Yeah.
don't walk in and just zone in. But once you're at callback number 5, there's sometimes 9 people in the room, you're like, hi. I made that mistake once, and I went and I shook the person's hand, and I was like, this is a hi, 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 hi. And I'm the guy I've heard of not to do this.
Were you like, hi Luke, hi Luke?
No.
Just make eye contact, let them feel recognized and acknowledged, and I think that goes a long way.
Recognize and acknowledge, that's a great one, but it doesn't have to be done with a handshake.
Doesn't have to be done with a handshake. Should you always be off book and never bring in sides to an audition? 1, 2, 3.
Can I do one of these ones?
Yes, why?
And I've worked here in Toronto, and then as you go out into the States, no one really memorizes lines like we do here in Toronto. Tell you what looks 100% better. You're saying your lines, and you know that's the line you can't remember. Look down, remember your line, rather than line.
Or like freak out, break character.
Yeah. I personally am always off book, but there's been times I remember where when you have too many auditions, I've had to bring them in. Brad Pitt or Johnny Depp back in the day, you're reading your lines. Leonardo DiCaprio was a kid, so it's like, can you carry your charisma through reading?
Yeah.
Sure, I guess maybe.
Yeah. What about specifically for new actors though? Let's say this is like their first few auditions. They've maybe auditioned, just signed an agent, and now you're auditioning for your first like principal role where you have like a page of monologue.
Yeah.
Do you think it looks worse going into the room with your paper?
No, I don't think so. If you're a new actor, I say if you're feeling super stressed over not being able to get the lines, bring them in.
One more question about this. What if it's a self-tape?
Oh, well, now, especially if it's a self-tape, you can cheat.
Should I have my sides in front of me, even though they know that I have the control? Or should you do like what you said, you cheat?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well,
what do you mean
you
cheat?
can Marlon Brando, right? So I only...
Further explain.
Okay. So Marlon Brando, for The Godfather, he never used to memorize his lines.
Okay.
Right? And I'm not talking about he couldn't remember. I'm talking about he would not memorize his lines. He would pin his lines up on Bristol boards. If you were off camera, he would pin the lines to your forehead.
No, he would not.
These are all facts. You can look them up. In auditions, and it's self-tapes, and I know there's a part, it's like, you come to the end of a monologue, it's those 2 words. You can't remember it. I pinned them up. I pinned one up here, one portion of the monologue here, and you look up, right?
Tricks.
Keep the sides open on your lap, so if you have to glance down, I always say that a glance down at your sides is better than being like, can we start over?
Totally. I completely agree, especially for in-rooms or upcoming Zoom auditions.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a really good point. In an audition, not on set, but in an audition, do you think you need to be verbatim, word for word, what the script writes? 1, 2, 3. No. Okay, that one we should explain, because I think a lot of newer actors won't understand why we both said no.
Everything that we kind of say is always up to the discretion of the person you're going for.
Of course.
Basically what we're talking about is like, the most important thing is that it's coming out of your mouth true.
I think when it comes to auditions, it is best to be as close as possible and never rewrite the story. It should never be rewritten dialogue that tells something different than what was written. But if it's gonna feel more comfortable to say small words like you were saying, definitely, especially if it's hard to remember. I know there's scripts that I look at and I'm looking at this monologue, I'm like, I can't remember it because of 2 words, and they're probably stupid words.
So dumb. Switch the order.
Yeah.
Of sometimes even the thing that's difficult is each person writes the way they're going to speak themselves. But I will say this, not to say that I've improv, but sure I've improv in almost every audition, light things here, maybe at the end, this and that. Not once have I ever had someone say, can you stick to the script, please? So, are you original? Are you having a good time? Is it real?
Yeah.
That's it.
And to be fair too, because we do a lot of tapes together, and I find that every time you do improv or add something here or there, again, it's not taking away from the story. It's not taking away from the general context.
Not something that's taking away. If anything, it's going to enhance.
It's going to enhance. Oh, this one's really funny. If a role is looking for you to have an accent and asks for a specific accent, if you are terrible at that accent, do you still do it? 1, 2, 3.
You might be able to do it. Everyone can kind of it's a muscle to stretch, right?
Yeah.
Each different thing in this industry is something else. Are you good at drama? Are you good at comedy? Right? Can you do accents? Right?
It is not sounding good, and you know it's not good. Like,
yeah, you'll know. You'll know.
Like, if it's really not good, I think there's a couple options. You could decline, which I never actually really recommend for auditions,
Yeah.
or you go in and you don't put an accent on at all. And if they really like you for the role and they think you're right for it, you go to an accent coach. You go to a dialect.
Exactly. I will say the most important thing, which is what I was thinking of, and it's like, why can I do an English accent so well? What are the things I'm watching? Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings. If it's saying I'm not that good, go watch something that has a specific British accent, Australian accent. Try your best. Repeat 4 or 5 words that they say. Even personally, there's a bunch of words I say on regular to keep certain accents sharp.
I mean, going back to some of our earlier points, be prepared, right? Like, be prepared when you...
For anything, yeah.
For anything. You never know.
So scary.
I mean, looking to dialect coaches too.
Yeah.
That's something I need to do. And just kind of like rolling off of that question, going into the room or not going into the room if you can't do the accent. So to generalize that a little bit further, do you go into the room if you do not feel confident about your work for that specific character?
Right.
1, 2, 3... In between?
I'm a no.
You're a no?
Only because with the age of self-tapes, I've had this happen
Yeah.
with the two of us, where it's like, I want to do a really, really good job. The audition is tomorrow. Can you tell them that I'll put a self-tape on and I'll have a self-tape to them by Wednesday because we can really work on it. Maybe it's 7, 8 pages of dialogue. There's something extra pressure being in front of people.
Yeah.
So if they take self-tapes and you're not feeling 100% confident that day, you can try something else. What were you gonna say?
Yeah, I mean, I was in between because
Yeah.
like you don't have to necessarily decline the role altogether.
Exactly,
You can
exactly.
kind of work something out. That being said, though, it won't be all times that casting will accept self-tape. A lot of the times they will, and I think especially nowadays they're going to be way more lenient to that. But I've actually had a no before. I don't even think it wasn't. I wasn't feeling comfortable. I think I had a conflict for the time. Yeah. So you've had that too, right?
So, but also some certain casting directors are old school. If they're going to come in and take their time, they want to see you face to face.
Which is also, I think, always the better route.
That's the weird thing, is there's almost no formula. You can do one audition through self-tape and get it. You could do one audition through self-tape, another 4 callbacks through self-tape, and then go in the room 4 times.
Yeah.
I'm still not getting it.
Yeah, literally. I think actors are given less justification to turn down auditions when they will be lenient with things like you're doing it from your home and you have, you know, a day and a half or 2 days to complete this self-tape. So
you should be off book.
You should be off book, and you should be in character,
Yeah.
and you should be able to commit that time if you're really serious about this as a career. Yeah. So, yeah, it's hard. That's why I was kind of like in between.
No, it's yeah, you're right. It's an on the fencer.
Right? Like there's a lot of those.
We
This
need to
isn't the
have one
game
where
for
we
these.
like bend our thumbs backwards. It's a punch.
It's a punch instead of an up or down. Okay, so this one's just specific for if you're in room auditions. I don't even know why I wrote this down. I'm kind of just curious what you're gonna say. If you are running late for an audition, do you cancel? Do you call ahead? Oh, it's not really an up or down one.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, I just call. Yeah.
I don't know why I included that one. That's an obvious.
Call.
Just call. Yeah, that was obvious. There's not much else to be said about that. That's all I had down for questions. Do you have any other questions? Like, do you have ones that you're like, ooh, this could...
I think there's always one on like when you're doing a self-tape, what's it supposed to look like? A lot of the breakdowns come up like clear wall, all that stuff. Yeah, just make sure you're not, like, see something like this, when they mean blank wall, they don't mean necessarily like just white. Like see, this is not necessarily like, it's not blank, but this is perfect. It's got some detail or something. But I just find like some people I've seen doing up against like brick walls or moving the camera. Don't move the camera.
That's so key. Never move the camera. Like if the scene says you're supposed to be walking and talking to someone, don't walk and talk with the camera. Don't do it. Stand still.
Yeah, please don't do it.
I'm gonna do a full video on that of just specifically talking about self-tapes because I think in this day and age it's gonna be really important to learn how to do that on your own. Going back to if you're a beginner and you're wanting to audition, I think the key takeaways from this is to not look into the lens.
Yeah.
Just be really prepared for your roles and for your characters. I mean, put the work in.
100%, yeah. And confidence is key.
Yeah.
If you don't know the lines and you're really confident, those lines... It's a funny story. We are working on this one show, Raising Expectations. One of the guys is that he would never say what the line was, but he would say it with such confidence. They used to change the lines
No way, because of him.
Yeah, they'd be like, that was just so much, way funnier, And he's like, what, I didn't say the line?
He didn't even
and we're
know.
like, dude, you're saying things, like I'm acting across him. I was always like, dude, what are you, I'm just gonna say the next line I have. If it doesn't make sense, we'll call cut, because I don't know what you're saying.
What lines you're doing.
What lines? He's like two lines ahead, one line backwards. I'm like, what is happening?
Anyways, yeah, great. Thanks. That was
Cheers.
cool.
That
Cheers.
to the next one.
To the next one. Thanks for watching. Comment, subscribe, share.
Pew, 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 pew.